Douglas Allen Bickford. It is the 21st of June 2022, 10 a.m. here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, Pacific Standard Time, which is my hometown. Broadcasting live from my 105-year-old house here. I am on YouTube and Facebook Live to teach you how to be positive, okay? And how to be positive about yourself, about your life, and about towards others. Because the more positive you are about yourself, the more positive you will get, and the more positive you will be towards others, okay? That's the way it works, okay? So, here's how you do it. It's called self-esteem, self-worth. I learned it from this book right here, how to attain it and maintain it. But here's what self-esteem is. Most people don't even know what the two words even mean. It means, it's also known as self-love, self-confidence, self-worth, right? But we've all been in romantic relationships, and that relationship that you get in with that person, when you first get in it, okay, they can do no wrong. They walk on water, you know. And it's like you're bragging to all your friends and family. Both sides are doing the same thing because you both have that good feeling, right? And everything they do is perfect, okay, when you're in that phase of the relationship, okay, whether it's a man or a woman. But what self-esteem is, self-worth, self-confidence, self-love, is that good feeling toward yourself. And Dr. Susanna McMahon, a psychiatrist, her degree is in psychology. She's got a doctorate in psychology. She also has a master's in philosophy. She's 73, lives in Madrid, Texas. As a psychiatrist, she's had thousands of clients, okay? Every chapter, it doesn't have chapters, I call them lessons, it's in question form. But every lesson in this book talks about how we've been taught and trained not to have self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. And she wrote the book 30 years ago, okay? So, it's 1,000 times worse now with the social media. Back then, they were using the televisions and, you know, the churches and the state governments to make sure that we don't have self-esteem, okay? But anyway, she's had thousands of clients that would hire her to fix their unhealthy minds as a psychiatrist. Because what a psychiatrist is, they study a doctorate in psychology is a study how the mind works, how it functions, the science of the mind, right? So her clients would hire her to fix their unhealthy minds. So as a psychiatrist, since she knows how the brain works, she knew that these clients that would hire her didn't have self-esteem because nobody was teaching it. So she had to come up with a way to get her clients to give themselves self-esteem, okay? Because nobody can give you self-esteem except for you. I can't give it to you. I can direct you how to get it, but you have to do it. And here's that very simple concept. It's called mirror therapy. Look at yourself in the mirror and say 4 things. Say, I love you. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to love. I'm worthy to be loved. And I'm full of goodness. Those 4 things to yourself daily in the mirror will give you what is known as self-esteem. And this is the first time you've ever heard anything like this, because nobody's teaching it except for Douglas Allen Bickford here in Klamath Falls, Oregon on today's date, right? So you have to say those things to yourself daily in the mirror instead of criticizing yourself, folks. When we get older, we all get in front of the mirror and we say or think bad things about ourselves because we're imperfect, okay? But anyway, so you have to say it daily because to attain and maintain self-esteem, it's like lifting weights. If you start lifting and you stop, you have to start over from scratch. Self-esteem is the exact same thing. To maintain it, those 4 things to yourself in the mirror will instantaneously give you self-esteem. I kid you not. But to maintain that, you have to say it daily, literally for the rest of your lives, and it will take you less than 10 seconds instead of criticizing yourself. I love Douglas Allen Bickford. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved, worthy to love. I am full of goodness. That's it. Less than 10 seconds, folks, will change your life when you're in front of the mirror anyway, already criticizing yourself. Okay, so, and the reason she came up with mirror therapy, because she knows how the brain functions. Okay, went to school for 10 years to get that degree. The reason she knows that is because we cannot lie. The reason mirror therapy is so powerful, and she came up with it, is we cannot lie to ourselves in the mirror. It's a psychological event that happens in your brain. That's why you can easily say, when you're in front of the mirror, or think bad things about yourself. And you can't say good things about yourself, and those 4 things to yourself are really good, because you cannot lie to yourself in the mirror. You don't believe it about yourself, the good things, but you believe the bad things about yourself, and that's why you can easily say it in front of the mirror. That's a psychological event that happens. Okay. The reason self-esteem, self-love, self-confidence, self-worth is so important to have as a human being, because we cannot be content without it. What content means is, it's also known as internal peace. But what content means is you feel good about how, where, and what you are. Okay, and like I said, it's also known as internal peace. There are 11 things that people are using to try to be content. They are Facebook, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, food, television, religion, material possessions, another person, or money. Those 11 things are outside of yourself. They will make you feel good temporarily. Okay, the drug high goes away, so you have to do more drug because the feel good went away. Same thing with a warm fuzzy feeling when you drink alcohol, folks. That warm fuzzy feeling goes away, so you have to do more alcohol. And the big one is, too, the like on Facebook. You have to do more posts to try to get people to like your post. It makes you feel good temporarily. And then the other 8 things are exactly the same thing. And the other thing, the reason it's so important to have self-esteem, self-love, self-confidence, self-worth is because we cannot be loved without it. We cannot love without it. So what happens is, when you get in these romantic relationships, you'll attract exactly what you are. If you don't have self-esteem, you'll attract somebody without it. If you have self-esteem, you'll attract somebody with it. Okay? So then what happens, 2 people that get into a relationship without self-esteem, right, is after that good feeling goes away, you all know that good feeling is only temporary. When it goes away, then you think you're out of love with them. Okay? And then both of you think the same thing. So that's when the fighting starts, the arguments start, getting in the car, going on the road, telling everybody, what they do to you. Both people do the same thing. You go to all your family and friends, you say the same thing. Both people do that. And because that good feeling went away, the drug use starts, the cheating, the alcohol use, the going to bars and picking up people to have sex with, to try to make that relationship work. That's when the relationship turned toxic, right? So what happens because that relationship turned toxic? You'll divorce if you're married, or separate if you just got with them, right? And then the same 2 people will go out and find somebody else to be happy with, right? And then the exact same thing will happen in that relationship, because you went in another relationship without self-love, self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence. And then it's why I've been married 4 times and divorced 4 times, because I went in all my relationships without self-esteem, and I met somebody just like me. Okay. And you have been in many failed marriages. Well, maybe that's why you've been married more than once, or had many failed relationships, because you went in without self-esteem. The next thing that'll happen, 2 people that got involved with no self-esteem, you'll stay in that relationship forever, okay? And the reason you stay in it, even though all the emotional, sexual, and physical abuse is going on and gone on for the whole relationship, because you don't want to be a failure, you're afraid to leave, you cannot be alone, you don't want to be a failure to all your family and friends, and you just stay with them because you're being codependent on each other for whatever reason, okay? And then what happens because of that? It becomes a dysfunctional family, and all the kids and everything. A dysfunctional family produces more dysfunctional families, and then the dysfunctional family does the exact same thing, okay? Then they produce more dysfunctional families down the line. There's a lot of that going on too, okay? And then the last thing that'll happen, and 2 people that got in a relationship without self-esteem, the 2 people will just say, screw it, exit out of the romantic scene, and just be alone for the rest of their lives. And then they'll use the 11 things to try to make themselves happy, content, and absolutely nothing can make you content except for attaining and maintaining self-esteem, okay? So then they quit taking care of themselves, and you see these people out and about. I see them out here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, right? And they're miserable alone, just like they were miserable in that relationship, because you cannot be content, happy, without self-esteem. But the good news is, all parties involved can change all those scenarios, whether you're in a toxic relationship, producing dysfunctional families, or you're all alone out there. If all parties involved said 4 things to themselves in the mirror daily for the rest of their lives, and then get this book and go through this book together, if you're in a toxic relationship, it will fix your relationship. It will, okay? Because there's many more concepts in this book that will give you a healthy mind. And the first thing it'll give you is self-esteem, okay? So that's how you can be positive. When I am going through this book, 1 lesson at a time, here's that next lesson. How do I learn to let go? Lesson 36. Previous questions, like I said, this book doesn't have chapters. I call them lessons, but it has questions, okay? Previous questions have emphasized the importance of letting go. It has been mentioned that we need to let go of insecurity, guilt, anxiety, perfection, fairness, and our illusions and defenses. This sounds like a great deal to release, and if we do manage to let go of all the above, what will be left? It is important to note that all of these attributes are related to the weak ego. The worth that we receive from external sources. All of the above serve to protect us from ourselves and to provide reasons to externalize or excuse our human behaviors. They all help to justify why we are the way we are, and to prevent us from taking responsibility from changing ourselves. When we let go of the need to be something we cannot be, perfect, which you get that illusion from the television that everything's perfect, and so you strive to be perfect like all those people you watch on television, folks. Okay, and you can't ever be perfect. They're not perfect either. They get the illusion of the television makes it look perfect. I mean, they can perfectly kill somebody, right? The perfect way to shoot somebody in the back of the head. The perfect way to jump through a window and, and not get yourself shattered, all cut up. They show that illusion on television. Bruce Willis is just one of them. Keanu Reeves is another one. Okay. That's the illusion of television. That's why it's so dangerous. Okay. Because they're telling you the world is perfect out there, and it's far from perfect. Okay, here we go. This sounds like a great deal of release, and if we do manage to let go of all the above, what will be left? It is important to note that all of these attributes are related to the weak ego, the worth that we receive from external resources or external sources. All the above serve to protect us from ourselves and to provide reasons to externalize or excuse our human behaviors. They all help us to justify why we are the way we are, and to prevent us from taking responsibility and from changing ourselves. And those 4 things to yourself in the mirror, again, will change you for the better, folks. When we let go of the need to be something we cannot be, I just read the whole thing all over. That's okay. When we let go of the need to be something we cannot be, perfect, we will discover that all we have left is our humanness, our goodness, our belief, and our trust in ourselves. We will be left with a kind, objective, responsible self. We will be left also with a realization that we make mistakes, feel pain, and often do not know why. But what is wrong with that? The best way to learn to let go of anything is lovingly. Do not hate or fight what you are trying to let go of. Rather, all of it, and realize that all of these things, your past, your guilt, your defenses, your illusions, brought you to the place where you are right now. All of these things made you what you are, and all of them worked for you because you survived. Think of all these things as tools, albeit faulty tools. But tools nonetheless, because they got you here. But now you need new tools, better tools, to get you where you want to be. Respect the old tools before you throw them away, before you let go. It is always much easier to let go of something that we have outgrown than it is to let go of something we hate or are angry with. When we hate something and try to get rid of it, it tends to become sticky and cling to us. When we lovingly let go and see the value of what we are getting rid of, it tends to slide away more easily. A good example of this is a relationship that you have outgrown. If you can focus on the good things in the relationship and what you learn from it, the leaving is easier and you tend to feel okay about yourself. But if you can only focus on the hatred and the negativity, the relationship still exerts power over you, and you are not free and not feeling okay about yourself. Honor all of the things that you want to let go of. Look on each one of them and remember how they worked for you. Appreciate them for getting you here. I left a toxic relationship of 3.5 years, pushing 20 months ago now. I've had to let go of all that pain, but I took all the good with me, even though I left everything I owned to get away from this woman. She was going to kill a third cat. Everything turned out really good because I got away from her. So good things happened because of that bad relationship. That's what she's talking about here. So I let go in love to her, and I continue to do that daily, and not hate her, and because she hurt me very bad. Okay, but you can all do the same thing. Tell yourself that now you are strong enough and responsible to yourself. You'll no longer need what you once needed. All of development means letting go and moving on. When we need a crutch, it is nice to have one handy. When we no longer need it, we can gently and lovingly put it away. The more self-esteem you develop, the more crutches you will put away. And those 4 things to yourself in the mirror will give you self-esteem on steroids if you do it and you keep doing it for the rest of your life. Seriously, folks, it is that simple. The crutch only becomes an impediment when you no longer need it. Letting go is a process. It takes time. It is an easier process when done with love. And I'm serious, folks, you can all attain it and maintain it if you do the 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily. I'm going to have another lesson for you tomorrow, which is how do I get over my past? Lesson 37. I can be your mentor when you folks start going through your change. Say those 4 things to yourself in the mirror, and it will make you positive, I guarantee you. From Douglas Allen Bickford. Call me anytime, day or night. 458-232-5238. I can encourage you along the way when you start going through your change. Have a great Tuesday out there. I'll talk to you tomorrow.